Good morning, everybody. We're going to get started. Looks like about 3 minutes from now. So just hang tight. And if you're watching the recording, you can fast forward a few minutes to the very beginning of today's session. All right, be back to you soon. All right, welcome everybody to this week's Stock Analysis Friday. My name is Bennett McDowell, founder of TradersCoach.com. Great to have you here. All right, so today we're going to go through some stocks of your choice. I have some I'll show you as well, in order for us to try to find some opportunities for the upcoming week next week. So type your stocks in caps, okay, in the comments area, and you will have a little time because I have some administrational items also to go through. But then I'll take a look at those, and you can type in more than one if you want. The more the merrier, so to speak. And let's go ahead and get started. Thanks for being here. Okay, so first thing I got to do is go through the risks involved in trading the financial markets. You know, we work in a realm of probabilities. and of course not guarantees. It is possible to lose some or all your money trading the financial markets or even investing in the financial markets. So we want you to be smart about it. We want you to use risk control. We want you to check with your financial advisor or whoever manages your money to be sure some of the concepts and information materials we submit here are suitable for you, because we don't know your personal situation, and of course they do. Always use money you can afford to risk in the markets, called risk capital, and know how to do risk control. And if you need help with that, I got a great book called The Money Management for Traders. It's brand new. It's on the far right. It's a green colored book on this screen. And basically what this book is, it's kind of like a Cliff Notes. It's pretty direct, and it gives you the information you need to start a money management and risk control program right away. It is a Cliff Notes book on my book on the far left called The Trader's Money Management System, which is an excellent book, but it is a very in-depth book on money management and risk control. So if you want just the formulas, just something to get started, Money Management for Traders is great. And of course, I got other books available as well. And those are all in our Amazon book page. And I'll put the link below if you're watching the recording as well. All right, I also have a link below for our website where you can check out our software. We have charting software, we have scanners, and of course we have risk control software. These are our trading tools. You know, in order to trade the markets, you really have to have the best tools, and these are it. So you may want to check that out on our website at TradersCoach.com. And then finally, like, subscribe, and share. All right, the more people we get here, the better. And that's kind of the bottom line here. All right, so let's go ahead and jump in and get started here. And I wanted to start out, while you guys are typing in symbols here, I wanted to start out with Google. This was one I think I get asked a lot about. And on Google, you know, we've had to move down, but I've drawn in fib retracements into this area here. And so it looks like we finally hit here. Now, this is a daily chart. This is a 60-minute chart. And then this is a weekly chart, all of Google. So this is the long-term aspect, the intermediate, and then the short-term aspect. So whenever I look at a particular stock or ETF that you type in, you're going to see it on 3 charts here in front of you. And the purpose of that is for us to get a glimpse of short-term, intermediate, and long-term activity on the stock. And this is called multiple time frame analysis. Just so you know, up here is our scanners at work. All right, but we're going to focus today primarily on the charts when you type in symbols. So Google, back to Google for a minute, it's come down to a high probability fib retracement area. Now, using our tools, we have the owl down here, and you'll see that on all 3 time frames. And it's red on the daily, and it's also red on the weekly. So we kind of want that to turn around on the daily to be green at the very least. We've got green here on the short term. That's good. We need to see a little more follow through. So this is one, the reason I'm showing you this is one we want to put on our watch list and keep a close eye on it, because as you can see on the daily chart with that owl, we're close to it going above the 0 line, which is right here. And if it does, then we want to think about going long. So we're getting close. Maybe next week this will trigger, maybe 2 weeks. Let's wait and see. Got an ideal entry here if it starts to move up, and our stop would be right under here. Now, in terms of those that like the Elliott wave, I'm going to go to the chart on the far right, which is the weekly chart. We got a 3. We're down to a 4 target zone here. So it's pretty much ripe to go into wave 5 and make a new high at some point on the next run. Now, it'll take a while to get there, but it should move up in that area. Nice thing about this configuration is we have a 3 here, an A, B, C, and it puts it right into the target zone. So that's pretty clean. All right, looks good. All right, let's see what else we got cooking out there. Let me take one of yours out here. Al, good morning. Al's bottom feeding today. All right, he wants to take a look at COSM. Those that don't know what bottom feeding means, Al is not a fish, okay? It means he is looking for stocks near the bottom, okay? So that's what we're going to take a look at for here. All right, give that a second to load, Al, and then we'll take a look. All right, so what Al's waiting for here is this thing to bottom out. And Al, I got to tell you, I like the way you looked at this because I also like to look at things near bottoms. I don't think it's over yet. We got a red PTF here. So I'm seeing a little bit more downside. So how far is this thing going to go? Let's take a look here. Okay. Let me open up this chart just a teeny bit here. So not a lot of history on this, right? So pretty little bit of a messy chart. So I don't think it's quite ready. Let's wait for this thing to at least turn yellow again. All right, which means it has to go lower than this. This is called the PTF indicator, if you don't know what that is. And that basically is an indicator we created. And when it's red, you find the lowest low in the red area, which is just the recent low on this. And there's a 75% probability it's heading back down. So I like your concept. I just would wait a little bit longer and let's get rid of that PTF. Okay. I think you're going to get a little bit of a pull up here because you got the 60-minute chart bullish for the most part because you got a PTF that's green. But I think the long-term trend is not yet over. So we got to be careful with that. Good one to look at. All right. Another one, STEM. And this is another bottom feeder from Al. And let's take a look at this one. All right, so this one is a little better, okay? On this one here, we do not have a red PTF anymore. Okay, so that's good on the weekly chart. You do have an active pyramid. So if we were trading this on this time frame, our stop would be right here. So we haven't taken that stop out yet, but we're seeing some bullishness now appear on the daily chart. This one is a good one. And it's a little bit more risky because the weekly chart is not turned yet, but that's kind of, that happens because the weekly chart's kind of like the last to turn. So if you want to get in early, I'm liking this. A couple of reasons more why I like it. All right, for one, if we take a look at this bottom that formed here, notice we went up a little bit and the bears took it down one last time. That's always a healthy sign before going long. So now we've got a bullish pyramid here. We went above the PTF here. So no, we no longer have an active position. We would have been stopped out. This is green, not red. That's okay. This is green, however, and this is green. So this is signaling a really excellent, all right, trade you could take right now. And I would put your stop either, if you can, I'd put it at the very bottom because it's still possible we may get a double bottom before it goes, or you could put it at the pyramid. I'll leave that up to you and how big a trade size you want to take. But the pyramid's pretty far down, so that's a good sign. And it represents the pullback after the first move up. But we probably will get a pullback now that we just took out that pyramid on the way down, which represents key level of support. So I would imagine stop as far down as you could do it. And if the bottom is not over, of course, you'll get stopped out, but that's how you want to get stopped out. You don't want to get stopped out on volatility. So this is a go. Okay, I like this one. This could be a winner for today as well. All right, thank you, Al. All right, let's keep going here. Don't be shy, of course. All right. Okay, so the next one we want to take a look at is, I want to take a look at the cryptos, Bitcoin. I'm going to use an ETF called GBTC for that. And when we look at the cryptos here, very interesting situation occurred here. Notice that we got a lot of red on the short-term time frame over here in terms of the PTF and the trend. So technically, we haven't turned this around yet. It has sold off. And the question is, do we have a bottom here or are we going down further? And at this particular point with a red owl here, I would hold off on any long positions. And I have to be honest, we got to be careful here. We still have a green PTF here. So that's indicating, if you look at the highest high, that's indicating that we should get back up above 55. Now, if it heads back down much further, this could turn red. And if that's the case, all bets are off then. But I would not be long on this. You shouldn't be long on this. If you were long, you would have gotten out already. So now I would just keep this on the back burner. We can look at this every week and see what happens with this. But right now with the red PTF on the 60-minute time frame, it looks like it's going down a little bit further over the next week or so. So let's see what happens with that. So no go on that, okay? No go on that. All right, let's see. Michael Katz, how are you, Michael? All right, FTNT for Michael. FTNT, let's put that one in there and see what comes up on that. So that's loading. Give that a second to load. Michael, I don't know what you're doing with this one in terms of whether you're long or short, but look at this chart on the weekly. Let's open that bad boy up. All right, so this is a huge wave 3 in terms of Elliott wave. Now there's 5 waves in an Elliott wave sequence. So we finished 3 and now we're in 4. After 4, we should have another high represented as 5. But we have to make sure we know where 4 is going to end. And then we have to make sure the market momentum has turned and entered into wave 5 before we take a long trade. Now, a couple things here. I don't know if this is an investment or a short-term trade, but we would have been out way up here, okay, if we were trading this from a long-term perspective for just wave 3, because wave 3 ended here. Basically, that's what we're saying. But now let's take a look and see where the retracements could be. And so we'll go for our drawing tools and grab fib retracements. Let's look for, I think that's probably pretty good right around there. So interesting enough, we came very close to the high probability target. Wave 4 is 70% of the time usually in here, the way we draw them in. So this is the target zone, and we still have a red owl. And we have to have a red owl for it to be a major wave 4. So that's a good thing. That represents that we are in a wave 4. So the next question is wave 4 over, or do we have a little more room to go? Let's go and take a look at our shorter time frames, and this tells the story right here. We have a red PTF here, and so the current low, which is here and here, is not, according to this indicator, the final low. So we've had a retracement up to the inflection point. We should start to see more selling at some point, and then when it sells, and if it goes below here, then this should turn yellow. If it remains red, that means more lows are coming. So we don't want to go long on this yet. We may be close to a bottom, but it needs a little bit more to the downside to complete wave 4. Now, the target for wave 4, Mike, is between 240 and 157. So that represents a 38.2 to a 61.8% fib retracement. So that's where wave 4 is. So no trade to the long side yet. Now, if you're long and you're just going to keep this as an investment, well, it should recover, but you might have a little more pain before it does. So I'll leave that up to you and how you want to manage that particular trade. All right, Zeke, how you doing? Let's take a look at NVIDIA. That's a good one. All right, NVIDIA and AMD and all the techs here. Okay, so let's take a look. NVIDIA, very similar situation in terms of like looking at Google or anything like that. So let's draw in our fibs. When I look at a chart like that, like this, there is no mistaking if you're an Elliott wave person, this is a wave 3, okay? Our indicators tell you that, and look at the price. You just can't miss it. This is probably a 1, this is probably a 2, 3, and so now we are in 4. And just like the other one we looked at, we want to see where the target zone for wave 4 is. So when we look for a bottom on a pullback, what we're looking at is connecting enough dots on the types of tools that we use in order to increase the probability of knowing what's going to happen. So let's draw in, again, our fib retracements. And we'll start at 2 and go all the way up to 3 because that's how we draw them. And we're smack in the target zone. That's very healthy. The other thing I like about this one is you can see an A, B, C, which is the usual pattern for a wave 4. Sometimes you get complex patterns, but that's pretty usual. So that's a wave 4 bottom. We have a red owl, which we must have to establish a wave 4. And check this out. We have a green PTF. So wave 5 is set to go above wave 3. So Let's take a look at the short-term charts and see about the timing. This is why I use 3 time frames. All right, this is good. So I no longer have a red PTF. That's yellow. That's good. You can go long or short on the yellow. That's neutral. You don't want to go long when it's red. All right, for example, so we would like to wait for that to be yellow. We've got a pyramid entry here. We're getting in early. This is bullish. May get a pullback, but this is looking good. So I have to say, NVIDIA, I'm going to write that down, is another one that's a winner today. So we have STEM and NVIDIA as 2 winners for today. All right, and it's looking good. Now, we got a pretty steep owl over here on the weekly. So watch the position size. Calculate the position size. And what I do is when I go against a pretty significant owl on a longer time frame, I like to cut back the trade size a little bit, or position size. But I would go with this one, okay? I think it looks pretty clean, and we have the momentum bullish on the 60 minutes, so good one. All right, that's NVIDIA. Let's take a look at AMD. When we looked at NVIDIA, I think a couple of weeks ago, we were still seeing it come down, but now I think it looks good. All right, again, AMD, let's open up that weekly chart. And once again, unmistakable wave 3. Now, what's interesting with this is that there are a lot of stocks that are in this position right now. So if the market's going to sell off, the overall market, then this is kind of contradictory to that, because these are looking like they're going to make more highs. So I'm not so sure the market is at a point yet where it's going to sell off. We're still watching some key levels of support on that as well, and they have not been hit yet. So we'll see what happens with that. But in any case, AMD is looking like a really good one against steep owl. Let's take a look at the lower time frames and see how that's looking. Let's quickly draw in while we're here. Let's draw in those fibs on the retracement level. So the key is looking for 2. I think that's a 2 there. We'll draw that up. So we've hit the target zone. That's a dot connected. Green PTF, that's a dot connected. Let's take a look at the daily chart. No more red in the PTF. Green here, that's a dot connected. Pyramid hit here, that's another dot connected. We've got bullish momentum on AMD on the 60 and bullish owl, or PTF rather, on both those. So this is a go. This is another one. That's an excellent one. I think I might like this one best out of the 3, but we've got 3 good ones. So STEM, NVDA, and AMD are our winners so far. This is one you can take right away. Put your stop at the bottom of this pyramid. Okay. If you don't have the pyramids, you may want to consider getting them. But if that's the case, then go ahead and put your stop at the very bottom. All right, so that's where that's looking now. Excellent. And then let's end up with you, Zeke, with Qualcomm. Well, you gave us some good ones. Thank you for these. All right, so Qualcomm, let that load a second. Wait for the data gods, so to speak. All right, so let's see a little bit more on this bad boy. Let's open this up. Okay, so this is a little on the different side here. It's not quite as clear. Do you notice that? As the other ones we looked at, it's a little messier. So when I compare this with like an AMD, an NVIDIA, or STEM, I would choose those before I would get to here. All right, that's my feeling whenever I look at a chart. I like the clarity when I look at a chart. Let's try to decipher this and see what went on here. So first thing I'm going to do is bring fib retracements here. I'm going to try to identify, could be here. Okay, so on this move up, if this is a 3 because it had a larger owl, then that would be a 3, possibly ABC for 4, small 5. That probably is over at this point. Has to take out this bottom here first. So we may be done, or we may have a very volatile wave 5 and one more high, but I can't make that assessment. All right. So I'm thinking maybe at this point here, looks like that pyramid was stopped out here. I think we're done with this. I think it may even go down further. So I'm kind of would shy away from this one. All right. I think any bullishness we're seeing here could just be a bounce, short-term bounce in a downtrend. So you got to be careful here. It's not like the others. All right. So that's Qualcomm. All right. Let's take a look at POSH. Al, you're being very posh today. All right. Let's take a look here. All right. So bottom feeding, I would imagine here, Al. All right, let's take a look here and see what we got cooking. So POSH, well, yeah, I mean, it is at the bottom. And we have bullish divergence in the owl. And not just once, but almost 3 or 4 times. So that is bullish divergence is tricky because you had it here. The problem is bullish divergence can go on for quite some time. Usually when you get to 4, which means you have 4 lows here. You see 1, 2, 3, 4. You had 4, actually, yeah, 4. You have your odds increase, your probabilities increase that the trend is about to change. So this is a really, really good sign on this one. And we still got red over here. Okay, but when you get in early, we still have an active pyramid to the downside with a stop here. So what we're trying to do here is look for an early entry. So I would put this on your watch list. It's not ready yet because we have a red owl still here. Let me just look at these forming pyramids. Do you see these yellow pyramids at home? Do you see that? Those are pyramids that have not been yet confirmed, but they're forming. They're looking at the price patterns. And I think what I'm going to do is change the color so you can see those. So give me 1 second while I go over to the settings window on that. Got to go to pyramids, change the potentials from yellow. Let's do blue. How's that? And see it. Okay, so that changes the color. All right, so now we have 3 forming pyramids. And we have 1 pointing down. They always point in the direction of the possibility. You got 1 up and 1 down. So you're in a channel and almost a pennant here. So it'll be interesting to see what breaks out. You've had a consecutive number of P pyramids. So if you get a breakout above here, Al, that I'm sure by then the owl will turn green, and that would be a long trade. Okay. And worst case scenario, if this thing only recovers a little bit and goes up to a fib retracement level. Well, let's just take a look here and for fun, draw that out here. So maybe you're talking about getting into the 40s, okay, from 11 bucks. That's a 400% return. So let's put POSH down as one to look at next week, okay? So we'll call that watch list. Okay, so next week for that one. All right, let's keep going here. Let's see. Okay, FTNT, we looked at that one, Mike, for you. So we're good there. And CX for a short. Let's take a look at CX here. All right. So what do we got cooking here? All right. So CX has worked its way down quite a bit. Let's open up this longer term chart. We got a lot of activity. All right. Again, do you see the difference between a chart like this and some of those others where it's much clearer? So this is kind of a little bit of a messy chart, but one thing it has going for it is that it has been bouncing along the bottom, Al, since 2013, just about, actually almost 2010 if you want to go back here. So that's kind of a problem, all right? And every time it goes up, it seems to bounce within these, and this is $4.30. It almost goes bankrupt and then comes back up. So I'm not excited about this one. What I would be excited about if it finally broke out of this long-term, decade-long channel. All right. So your only possibility here is to trade these because you just don't know when it's going to break out. So you know, you could possibly make some opportunity, but they have to be short-term trades. So yes, you're near the bottom here. Okay. And you definitely, you know, have a big move up here, but you have to get into these swings here. So it is possible to trade these, like I said, but don't expect a big, huge win on these because so far it's remained fairly bracketed. But with that said, Could you go from $4.30 to at least 7 or 8? Yeah, that's almost 100% return on your money. So that ain't too bad if you can time this pretty well. So here's what I would do on this one. All right, so you've got currently this pyramid that has been taken out. So if you were short on this, which would have been a nice trade, you'd be out. Now the question is, do we have a bottom, and are we going to get a little upswing now? And so this is green, that's good. This is red, that's not good. This is red, not good. So not all the dots are connecting for a long trade yet, but you can keep an eye on it. I would not take this until, you know, we have green over here. Yellow's okay. And I'd put your stop, depending on when that happens, either here, all right, or here if we break out. But you got to break out first. So no go yet. But thank you for sharing that. HBAN, let's take a look at that one. HBAN. All right. So let me just see, short. Okay, so this would be a short one. All right, so if you're short on this, you've got pretty much the momentum on the long-term chart in your favor. So let's take a look at that. All right, so this I would almost classify as a PTF scalp trade because the PTF's red, signaling that the target is here. Now on PTF trades, the most important thing is where your stop is, because you could be right on the PTF could be right, but if your stop's too close, the volatility could take you out. So that's the tricky thing about PTF scalp trades. So at the very least, you'd want to have your stop here. All right. If you got in, what would have been nice is to have gotten in here and even put your stop up here if you could, because we still could bounce around. And this is an MP there. So, all right. So for now, I think you have to put your stop at the MP. You got about a 2-to-1 risk to reward. So that's okay. You've got everything red here that needs to be red. So that's okay. All right. Now, let's take a look at the short-term time frame in the middle. So my concern with this one is you already have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pyramids pointing down. You've got this one coming up. All right. So from this time frame, all right, we would have been stopped out of a short already. So I would not go short if your primary time frame is the daily chart. This is red, however, okay, down here. So that's a good indication. So maybe we might come down to about $12.80, but we're at $13.58. So we're not talking about a big move down. So this low here, for example, is going to be probably this low here. So we may just come down a little bit and go back up. So I'm not, if you're short on this, you'd have to be short using a stop based on the weekly chart, because it's very possible we could get a little bit of a move up to like 1550 or so before it turns back down. Could even go a little bit higher. So you gotta be careful with that. So this stop would keep you at around 16 bucks, which would be way up here. So if you get a retracement, point of inflection, draw your fibs, whatever, you're talking right about in this price range here. So I don't think I would initiate a short yet, but if you are short, make sure your stop is far enough away if you are trading the weekly chart. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, let's keep going here. Okay, so I looked at POSH. We looked at Google. John, did you see Google before? Here, I'll put that up one more time. We looked at that at the very beginning. I don't know if you were here for that. So in the Google situation, all right, I'm going to open up the weekly chart. So this was obviously a wave 3. We're in our wave 4 target right now. So 3, 4 has to be a red owl. That's good. We know we don't have a red PTF. That's good. So I'm liking that. We have a little bit of red left on the daily chart. We have an active pyramid. So I would say if this goes green and we get above here, we may want to go ahead and initiate a long position on Google. So I like Google, but I think we got to give it a little bit more time. Okay. And John, that's for you. All right, TEK. So I put Google on a watch list. All right, let's take a look at the weekly chart. Definitely the roller coaster. All right, almost a triple bottom here. Look at this, going all the way back to 2003. All right, so this came up, this bottom held. Now this bottom held. So it looks interesting. Hard to get a wave count. I'd have to go out on a longer time frame on this. So this is kind of a tricky situation. But it definitely currently is in an uptrend. So let's just focus on that. When the history is a little bit messy, focus on the current movement. And the current movement started back in April, or not April, probably, I don't know, January, February of 2020. So that's where this move began. So this is pretty extended. And whatever we're in, if this is a wave 3, then you've already had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 movements in a row. I think probably we're seeing a little bearish divergence building inside the owl on wave 3. So I think a long trade here is very risky on this time frame. Let's see about the other time frames and see what they say. Yeah, same. Look how many pyramids you had in a row. So I think you missed your opportunity for a long trade here. So you got a couple choices at this point. We have a little more bullishness, but look how extended that is even on the 60-minute. So how would I play this? All right, well, 2 ways you could play this. I would go back to this chart and draw in a fib retracement area. Now, probably we're looking at a fib retracement somewhere around there at some point. We have to have a red owl for us to say wave 4 is in, and we'd like to see it go here. So 70% of the time, wave 4 is in here. 15% of the time, they fail or fall short and in here. And then 15% of the time, they get a little extended, but cannot go, of course, above or into the top of wave 1. So what would I do? I would probably not do anything with this at this point unless I'm already in it. All right, if you're long and you're in it, hey, that's great. I would use the stops probably at this point on the daily chart. So I'd use this stop on this pyramid here. So almost like 40 bucks. And if it gets hit, you get out, because I think it's going to go into a major 4 at some point pretty soon. And, you know, basically what's pretty soon? Well, it could be based on the weekly chart. Actually, it could be a couple weeks, but I think we're near a top. So it could waffle. You know how the Dow Jones is kind of like topping and now going sideways? You could see that on TEK at this point. All right, Grayson, how are you? QB, let's take a look at old QB. Give that a second to load. All right, let me open up this weekly chart here, and you are long QB. Okay, so this would have been a wonderful trade. This is wave 3, okay? No question about it. But look at the entries here. You could have gone long down here on this owl and just kept this as a long-term trade all the way up. Never stopped out until here. That would have been a beauty. So technically, I would have to assume your intentions are now to stay in for wave 5 since you didn't get out, or maybe you just got long, I don't know. But in any case here, let's draw in those fib retracements and kind of get an idea of where we're talking about. Let's see, I think probably 2 is right around there. Let's draw those up. So you're smack in the target zone for that. Okay, that's good. Let's take a look at the shorter time frames. All right, so hasn't yet really turned around close on the daily. So I would put this on a watch list, okay, on this. And it may turn around and give us a green PTF this week, coming week. We'll have to wait and see. We definitely do not have an active short position on the daily chart. So that's a good thing. So we may be near a bottom. Certainly could be. We had a 1B here reversal that got triggered. So that certainly could be. So I would say probably, Grayson, at this point, let's wait for this to turn green. And then I would take a long trade on that. So I think it's close. And I'm going to put that on my watch list too, because I like that one. But it has to turn first. I can't tell you how many times that owl has saved me thinking a bottom's in, it's still red, and I don't get in, and then it makes one more bottom, and then it's time. So I always pay attention to that thing. All right, let's take a look at GRMN. See what we got cooking on this one. Give that a second to fully load. All right, I think we're good there. All right, let's take a look here. And on this one, hold on one second. I lost what we were doing on this. All right, okay, there it is. All right, so Grumman long on this one too. All right, same exact analysis as the other. All right, you got a green PTF. All right, nice move up, but you still have a red owl. And let me just open this one up a little bit more. Yes, very similar. You know, big wave 3 up, and now you have a correction. Okay, so just wait for this one. You could be near a bottom, but got to wait for things to turn around just a teeny bit more on the daily chart. As soon as that goes green, yeah, you could do that. So you could put that one on a watch list too. All right, let's take a look at GS, Goldman Sachs here. Give that a second to load. Okay, so this is another similar situation. Okay, so on this one, at least we have the owl turning green on the daily. But let's just open up that weekly really quick here. Okay, so let's see what we got in terms of a retracement. Okay, so that dot is connected. Still got a little red here, but we had to have the red for the 4. We got 3, so that's looking pretty good. And so we're trying to catch 5. Now remember, 5 is not going to be as enthusiastic or direct as wave 3. These things kind of meander, and all of a sudden they get higher without you sometimes even noticing it because they're not that exciting. All right, but wave 5's what wave 5s are. Okay, I like this for a long trade. Wait for this to turn green over here. So if it was green before when you went in here, great. Okay, you're going to get a little pullback here. Stop, I'd put at the bottom of this pyramid, but this is looking really good. All right, if we had that owl on the 60-minute green, I'd say it's an immediate. But personally, I would just wait because I think you can get in at a better price once that once this pullback comes down a little bit. And if it doesn't and this thing turns green, just go right in. Okay, so I don't think a long position here is bad as long as you have your stop low enough for a small pullback. That's kind of what I'm looking at. All right, and then the last one for you is INMD. And I just want to remind everybody, please give us a like out there because the more likes we get, the better our videos show up. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. All right, so you're long on this one, but we have a red PTF here. So even though this is green, all right, problem with the red PTF and a strong owl is this may go, you know, something like this. Now, if it comes up to 60 bucks, hey, great, okay? But it may not, it may just trickle down. So I kind of would not be long on this until we have no more red PTF on the weekly chart, okay? But that's just me. All right, so very, very good. Let's keep going here. All right, let's see, keep going here. I'm just going down the list here. Let me know if I missed anybody. I think I might have gotten somebody. Gotten everybody. Let's just see. Zeke, I think you're good, right? Did I get you okay? Yeah, I think I got them all. So I think we're good shape. All right, just a little bit before I go here, let me just take a quick look at the Dow. All right, and just give you a little bit synopsis here. So we were expecting a move up on the Dow, and we got it. And then now it's sitting in this point of inflection here. So we're going to see what happens. We got a red PTF here on the weekly. So if you have a short position here, you got to have your stop up here at this pyramid. But, you know, the other thing with the current Dow situation is we have not gone below a key level of support that I'm watching here. So if I grab a straight line here and draw it there, you can see we came darn close, but actually we didn't go through it because I've done the measuring already. And it's close, but until that actually gets through there, and you can certainly see we came within, like, I think about 100 points of going through that line, but we did not go through it. So we're watching this, all right? I think a big sell-off is coming. You know, I've said that for years that it's due, and I think we're getting closer to that. If not, we may even already be in it, but we have to have that lower support level penetrated before I'm going to make that kind of declaration. Could we get more highs in the market? Possible. Okay, it is possible. But we are down for the entire year. And if we have an event that causes the market to sell off and go below that line we're looking at on the daily chart, then I would say we're in a bear market at that point. All right, so we'll keep an eye on it and watch. All right. All right. Zeke, you're funny. Zeke says Dow is the first 3 letters of the word down. So far, it is. All right. So listen. All right. Amazon. Thank you, John. Sorry I missed that one. Amazon. Let's take a look at that. AMZN. Now, I'm only seeing 1 like out there. Only 1. We've got 19 people looking at this right now. So please give us a like. That's that little button with the finger up, you know. All right, Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon here. Okay, let's open this one up and see where we are here. All right, so you got to put things in perspective. So you got to, whenever I look at something like this, I always try to go back. Where did this trend start? And that puts us all the way back to about 2014. This is a weekly chart. So that's a hell of a run, okay? So it was due for a correction. And now let's draw in some fib retracements and see where we can. I'm going to use this as a 2, I think, and bring that up here. And we hit the target zone, but this is concerning me. This is red. This is pretty deep too. So I don't think we bottomed here. I think we're going to go back into the target zone. So I don't think this correction is over yet on Amazon. And I think we're seeing a little reprieve right now, a little dead cat bounce here. But I don't think I would go long in a big way yet. Okay, so I think Amazon's got some more lows before I get super excited about it. Okay. All right, Stuart says, I see 10. Oh, good. Maybe my system is wrong then. It's just showing me. Just show me 1 like, okay? All right, Gene says there's 10 likes, silly. Good. All right, my system's only showing 1. So there you have it. Technology added again, right? All right, so I thank everybody for doing that. Okay, now let's see. Anything else? Did I miss anybody? Gene, you're my catch-all. Did I miss anybody? I think we got it all. All right, so let's take a little vote here and see what's cooking in terms of what we like. Let me go full screen here. All right, so we had 3 stocks that I thought were really good today: STEM, NVIDIA, and AMD. So those were the 3. And I think you could vote for either one, or maybe we'll vote for all 3. I think AMD, and these are ones you can take right away. You could even take these today. So I like them. What do you guys think? Let's see what you all say. Give me a vote on that. So STEM, NVIDIA, or AMD? I'm going to let you guys decide, or all three. You know, we can have three winners. Nothing wrong with that. Let's do that. What do you think? I think I'll leave it up to you. Out of those three, I think AMD is one I like the best, but I also will probably take NVIDIA and STM too. So, all right. And let's go quickly look at them again, okay? Just to see. All right. So AMD, let me type that one in and bring that one up again. So we're looking at a long trade here. Okay. So AMD would be a long trade, early entry to catch wave 5 on the weekly. All right. So we hit the fib retracement zone. We have, we think we're going to go above 170. So your risk to reward is there. Let's just do this as well. Since I'm here, let's draw fib extensions and see where that wave 5 is probably going to end. So here, and here, we're looking at a target just a little bit above the PTF target. So about 181 to 242. Okay. Right around in that target range. And you're going to be in this one for a while. So this is kind of a longer term trade. All right. The next one is NVIDIA, NVDA. And this one was from Seek, right? All right. I think AMD was too. All right. So same type of thing. Let's draw in our fib extensions here and see where we think this is going. This would be a long trade. And notice the target zone for the first fib target zone right here is right at the PTF target. All right, could go as high as 468, but 347 seems to be a good place to think it's going to go with pretty much. You got to be careful when you use the word certainty in the markets, but at least that looks pretty good. All right, and then finally STEM. I forgot who did STEM. That's Al. Okay, Al did that one, right? Okay, so this one, yeah, this one, not as much history on this one. So this one's a little bit iffy, and I'm only recommending this as a retracement trade. So I'm thinking maybe only around, it's at 849. So, $18 to $26 for a long trade. So I don't like this one as much as I like the others, but this one might be a little bit shorter term hold. So in other words, I don't think you're going to be in this trade as long as the other trades, because the other trades have got a full wave 5 before you get to the target zone. And that can take some time. This one's a retracement. And so it's going to reach this retracement level pretty quickly, I think. All right. Probably within a month or so. All right. So that is it. Okay, good. All right. So I think that's it for today. All right. So listen, I want to thank everybody for coming. All right. I really appreciate you being here. I have a lot of fun doing this. I hope you do too. And quite honestly, we find some pretty good recommendations here. So we're becoming almost like a club of stock pickers, which is super. All right. So have a great weekend. Hope you're enjoying summer. June is here. So thank goodness, get outside a little bit, have fun. And we'll see you back here next week. Thanks so much.